So just start seated slightly forward like we usually do, where the sit bones are towards the front end of the chair, and then hands can rest either on your lap or down by your side, whatever feels just most comfortable, allowing the shoulders to draw back and down. And then either keep a soft gaze kind of down towards the floor out in front of you, or you can close the eyes. And we're just going to take a moment to find some stillness and to find the breath. And so just focusing on your natural breath right now, inhaling and exhaling like you normally would, not doing anything to change or manipulate it. And just notice how you feel overall, your physical body, how you feel emotionally, what you're thinking about. If there's any tensions or tightnesses in the body, or any heaviness to your mind and your thoughts. And then just think for a moment of how you want to go on with your day. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel physically? How do you want to feel emotionally? And what do you want to focus your thoughts and attention on today? And so once you have kind of an overall sense of how you want to be and feel and essentially show up today, you're going to try and tap into those feelings during the whole practice. And when you feel yourself getting away from how you want to feel, then you're just going to stop and pause, even if it's mid-sequence or mid-pose. Just finding a moment to pause to maybe recollect your thoughts or bring your focus and attention back to the practice. And then just with really light movement of the head and the neck, you're going to nod your head up and down. So down, the chin comes to the chest, and then up, the head falls back and the chin lifts. And so just nodding the head back and forth. And trying to feel that stretch along the back of the neck and then along the front of the neck. And then bring your head back to neutral, and you're going to basically do side bends of your neck. So dropping one ear to the shoulder and then to the other side. Noticing if your shoulders try to hike up to meet your ears, do your best to keep them low and drawn down. And now feeling the lateral flexion and stretch of the neck and top of the shoulder. And then coming back up to neutral, and now going into rotation of the cervical spine, turning your gaze looking over the right shoulder, and then turning and looking over the left. And just again noticing if the shoulders start to hike up, or if they round, or if they're trying to rotate as well. So try to keep your shoulders steady and squared, just the head swivels. And then coming back to center. And hands can stay where they are, or arms can drop down to the sides, adding some shoulder circles, just kind of working down the body. This time trying to lift the shoulders almost as if they're going to touch the earlobes, and then they drop back and down the spine. And then going in the opposite direction. And then you're going to go in the other direction again, but this time adding your arms. So big arm circles, really getting into the shoulder sockets. And when your arms come down, you'll reverse, reaching them behind, up and over. And last big circle, and arms can rest. Good. Now reaching the arms out to the side, we're going to add some side bends. So just reaching up and over. It doesn't matter if you go left or right. And then coming back up through neutral, arms reaching out. And then up and over to the other side, trying to keep your opposite hip firmly planted to the seat of the chair. And just working on alignment when you come up, trying to get your shoulders in line with the hips and arms in line with the shoulders. And do one more to each side. And when you come up, you're going to turn your palms to face away from you, and then you're going to rotate them back to face forward. So what I want you to think of feeling, though, is this action coming more so from the shoulders, not just from the palms flipping. And so you're doing kind of an internal rotation of the shoulder as the palms face away, and then externally rotating as the palms face forward. So what you're going to hopefully feel is, especially as you rotate the palms to face forward, the shoulder blades kind of drop back and down the spine as well. So they might slightly lift as you internally rotate, and they fall as you rotate back open. And getting as full or as deep of a range of motion as you can. And so really trying to point your thumbs downward, and then as far up as you can, maybe even the palms fully facing the ceiling this time. So just gradually deepening that range of motion, that rotation of the arm inside the shoulder socket. And then just do one more twist and rotate, and then soften the arms and shake it out. Usually gets the shoulders pretty good. All right, so go a little bit wider on your feet. Doesn't have to be too much. We're gonna just do some forward folds here. So inhale and reach your arms up. You're gonna exhale and reach in between the legs and fold, letting your head completely drop. And then you're gonna round up the spine bone by bone. So peeling up, rounding, allowing the arms to slide to the outer hips. And then again, inhale, arms lift. You reach forward and rounding in, dangling the head down, and then rolling back up all the way through the crown of the head. Inhale, lift. And exhale, reach. And rounding up. Couple more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling to lift. Exhale, releasing the arms. Last one, up. And forward and down. Awesome. Now you're going to reverse it so hands can come to the inside. You're going to roll down, so chin to the chest. Bring your hands out. Extend your arms out in front of you, and with a flat back, lift all the way up, and then bring the arms down. Arms come in, you roll down. You reach in between the feet. Arms reach, straightening out the spine, lifting straight up until you feel your sit bones, and then arms to the sides. And again, forward fold. And reach, nice and long through the crown of the head. And release, couple more. Strong back and belly muscles. Your legs are helping to kind of stabilize and lift you, especially with the hips. Last one here. And release. Awesome. So walking your feet in, you're going to take the left ankle and cross it on top of the right knee. Try to keep your torso lifted and straight, but you can add a lean forward to deepen the outer hip stretch. If there's any sensation in the left knee, negative sensation, then pull the toes back towards you and flex the foot. And then releasing and lifting back up. Step the left foot down, bring the right ankle up on top of the left knee. And then again, lifting up nice and tall. And then if you need more sensation in the outer hip, then lean forward. Keep softening the right knee down. And then lift and step the foot down, and we're going to come to standing and turn the chairs, so that way you're facing the seat of the chair, but the chair is set towards the back end of your mat. So positioning yourself about a foot or two away from the edge of the chair, bringing your hands down to the seat of the chair, and then from there adjusting as you need to create a flat back position where your feet are under your hips and your palms are pretty close under the shoulders. So we're going to go into cat-cow movement of the spine. So as you inhale, you're going to drop the belly. Think of lifting your tailbone and the crown of your head to the sky. And then exhale and round, tucking your chin to the chest and your tailbone in between the legs. And again, inhale, tilting the pelvis up, rounding out the spine or arching out the spine. And then rounding the spine in the opposite direction, really pressing in between the space between the shoulder blades. So going at your own pace here, inhaling to drop the belly, and exhale to round. And just a couple more rounds. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then making your way back to a neutral spine. You're going to step and walk your feet back, maybe about another foot or two. Hands stay on the seat of the chair, and then you press your chest and hips back, allowing your chest and your head to fall in between the arms and the shoulders. And so feel free to walk your heels and toes a little closer together, a little further apart. Just kind of play around. If your legs need to be slightly bent, your knees slightly bent to protect the knee joints. And then really deep breaths. Adding some movement if you wish by walking your dog, alternating, bending one knee as the other straightens. Getting a little bit deeper of a sensation to the stretch on the back of the leg, down the hamstring, especially the calf muscle. And then finding some stillness, you're going to roll your hips forward into a plank position, bringing your chest over your palms in the seat of the chair. You might have to step your feet back a little bit just to feel a little bit more secure. From here, you're going to reach your right leg up. You're going to send your hips back, and then your right knee is going to draw up and under your nose as you come back into a rounded plank position. So you press back, right leg kicks up, your right knee draws, thinking of tapping your nose, and you're on your left toes. You reach back, left heel drops, right leg reaches up, and then rounding forward, tuck your nose towards the knee. And again, reaching up. And this time you're going to try and step your right foot in between your hands on the seat of the chair. So hands can stay on the seat of the chair if that's too deep. You can bring your hands to the back of the chair for support. Keep the left leg long and think of lunging forward, almost as if to drop your hips down towards the chair. So we're lengthening out the front of the hip flexor here of the left leg. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. And then adding some movement here, you're going to rock your hips back, lift your right toes up, keep the right heel on the seat of the chair, stretching out the hamstring now, and make sure to drop the right hip slightly and sense the right hip pulling back as the left hip maybe comes forward. And it's okay if your spine is rounded. It's also okay to work on straightening the spine. Usually trying to straighten the spine will deepen the hamstring stretch. Then soften your knee, coming back into the lunge. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, send your hips back into the hamstring stretch as the right knee straightens. So we're just going to kind of do this in a vinyasa style where we rock the hips forward into the lunge and then rock the hips back into the hamstring stretch. If your left foot, like I think mine is a little bit too far, I'm going to hop it in just a notch. Just be a little bit more secure with the hips. Do one more hamstring stretch and then come back into your lunge. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Rotate your left heel down, so you're almost in kind of a warrior two position, and it is what we'll eventually come into, but then sweep the left arm up and over into your extended side angle. So same rule applies here. You don't have to have your hand on the chair. If you feel like you need to be a little bit more lifted, bring your elbow to the knee. Now from here, keep the bend in your right knee, press the torso up to straight, and now you're kind of in this little lifted, supported warrior two. Taking your gaze out over the right middle finger, Squeezing the shoulders back, including that left one, and reaching energy out through the fingertips in both directions. Then we're gonna add some movement again here. So you're gonna straighten your knee, bringing yourself over the left leg, and then bend into the knee, back into the lunge. You should feel a pretty decent inner thigh stretch. So pressing out to straight, and then bending back into the lunge. So notice how your torso is not necessarily moving itself. It's moving because the leg is bending and you're keeping your shoulders in line with the hips. So your whole torso is moving as one unit. Last one to bend and straighten. Once you're straight, your right arm is going to come across the body like you're reaching for the left wall. Left arm is going to reach up and over, and you're going to side bend. So really big whole left side of the body stretch. And then coming back up, going into your lunge again. We're just going to come out of this in the reverse. So rotate, bring your hands to the chair, swivel onto your left toes to pull the left hip back forward, and then make sure your hands are on the outside of your right foot, so that way you can step the right foot back into your plank position. Holding for a breath, deep inhale, and exhale, send the hips back, drop your heels, and drop your chest. Feet can walk in if they need to. Just make sure you're fully relaxed. And a couple deep breaths in and out. From here, you're going to roll your hips and your chest forward, coming back into your plank position. Your left leg is going to lift up to the sky. Send your right heel back as you lift the left leg, and then rounding, coming back into plank position, left knee draws up and under the body towards the nose. And again, reaching back, chest comes still between the arms, and then rounding forward, coming to the right tippy toes, and reaching back, right heel drops, left leg lifts, and drawing forward, belly muscles, draw the knee in. And on this one, you're going to step the left foot in between the hands to the chair. And again, taking a moment here to really stretch back the right knee. So think of pressing the heel down and then lunging your hips forward. And then we're going to add movement by straightening the left leg, sending the hips back over the right leg. And now going back and forth, softening the left knee, coming back into the lunge. And then sending the hips back, straightening out the left leg. Inhaling forward and exhale back. One more round, lunge forward. And hips back. And then lunging forward, bring your left hand to the inside of the left leg, rotate the right heel down, and then remember, left elbow can come up to the knee if you need, or fingertips, but the right arm is going to sweep up and over, reaching across to the left wall now. pressing into the left foot, lift the torso, coming into that supported warrior 3. Make sure your hips and shoulders are open. Left knee is pressed to the left. Arms are reaching out, gaze is over the left middle finger. And then nice and strong with the inner thighs, you're gonna press the left knee to straight. Torso comes over the right leg, and then bending back in to warrior 2. And the next time you straighten the left leg, hold it there. Left arm is going to reach across the body, right arm reaches up and overhead. Big right side of the body stretched. And then lifting the torso, reaching the arms back out, bending into the left knee back to warrior 2, and then rotate. Bring your hands back to the chair, swivel back onto your right toe so your right hip now faces forward, and then carefully take the left foot back, step back into plank position, take a deep breath, and then exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. And another couple deep inhales and exhales here. And then start to round your spine as you walk your feet to the chair. And once you're decently close, continue and round up, allowing your arms to dangle. Once the shoulders peel back and the head lifts, rotate your palms to face open and just find your mountain pose for just a moment. Come back to your body, back to your breath. Are you starting to feel a little bit more how you wanted to feel today? All right, and then go ahead and release, just kind of shake it off a bit. We're gonna do a balancing pose here, which is gonna be our half moon. It's a really nice one to do with the support of the chair. So, measuring again about a foot or 2 away from the edge of the chair, especially more so the legs of the chair. And you're gonna bring your hands back to the seat like we've done before. Your right hand is gonna stay on the chair, and a lot of times walking it in, maybe not all the way to the center, but slightly towards the center of the chair will help a little bit. Left hand can stay there for just a moment, but your left leg is gonna kick back and up. So kind of prepping in a warrior 3 position. So this alone could be all you do. It's a lot of work for balancing on the right leg. If you wanted to practice taking one hand off, maybe the left arm first, doing some same leg, same arm, or opposite arm, opposite leg. And then from here, our goal is going to be to swivel open, so stacking the left hip on top of the right hip and turning the left toes open, maybe even slightly towards the ceiling. The right hand is going to stay on the chair, and we're going to try to reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, which is going to fan open the whole torso. So basically putting your body in one plane. Something I catch myself oftentimes doing, which I just corrected, is I keep my head lifted, and so I really break the line of my spine. So making sure that your line is really nice and long, considering that the line of your spine starts at your left heel, goes all the way through the spine and out through the crown of the head. Still making sure to relax the shoulders, so that way the majority of the strength to hold you up here is coming from your core and your right leg to stabilize. Good. Kick that left leg up as high as you can. Use some outer hip and glute muscles. Press out through the heel to extend. And breathe. Then to reverse this and release, bring the left hand back down to the chair. Turn your left hip down and soften the left foot to the mat. And then just release maybe your forearms to the chair and allow your head to relax. When you're ready, press back up to your palms. Readjust and situate your feet and your palms. And then when you're ready, your right leg will reach back, finding that warrior 3 position. And again, maybe take a moment just practicing reaching the left arm back. And then the right arm, noticing the difference between doing opposite leg and same leg, a little harder to do the same leg and arm. And then your left hand is going to stay on the chair. You're going to start to swivel the right hip open this time. Once you feel like your lower body is set, then try to reach the right arm up to the sky and peel open the right chest and shoulder, and reaching your gaze to the right wall. Nice long energy out through the right heel, all the way out through the crown of the head. Soft and relaxed on the shoulders. And breath, nice and strong, nice and deep. Focus your eyes and your gaze on one point. And then start to bring the right hand back to the chair. Turn the right hip back down and soften the right foot. Come onto your elbows and drop your head once more. And then pressing into your palms, gently come all the way down to your knees. Okay. All right, so you're gonna turn back to face the camera essentially. So we'll have the chair on the right side of your body. So if that means you're not facing the camera, that's completely fine. Your left leg is going to extend out. Your toes are pointed forward, and you're trying to peel and reach the pinky edge of your foot down to the bottom edge of your mat. So right knee is nice and supported, is in line with the right hip. Right hand is gonna come either to the seat or the back of the chair. It's okay if you have to reach a little bit, we're going that direction anyway. Left arm is gonna reach up and over. What I want you to think of doing is kind of sending. If you notice, if I keep my hips completely neutral, right? There's kind of this little break in the line. So I want you to almost kind of pop your left hip up, and you're gonna feel your right hip drop. So that way there's this really long line here across the body. Now I'm holding onto the back of the chair and I have my elbow bent and it's not touching. I could always rest the forearm and elbow, makes it a little bit more comfortable. I just want you to notice the difference between holding it here and pinching off the right side and letting it release a little bit and release that right side. So essentially we're looking for a straight spine. Now, what I'm gonna ask you to do, and you can bring the left hand down to your hip for support, is have your forearm on the chair. So make sure you're not gonna hold on to the back of the chair. Forearm is down. You're gonna have to press into your left foot to support you, and your goal is gonna be to kick the right foot out in front of the left leg, and then squeeze the inner thighs and keep your hips lifted. Good. And then lower the knee down. Take a big stretch up and over again. Find that straight line, including your neck. And we're gonna try it again. Left hand comes to the hip. Good, use your oblique muscles, inner thighs, step the foot out, squeeze the inner thighs together, and then softly bring the right knee down and press up and bring the left knee in. Good. Nice. Okay, so you can either just shift your chair over like I'm going to do, or just turn around for the other side. So left knee is gonna stay under the hip, right leg extends out. Remember, you've got that rotation so the toes are forward and the pinky knife edge of the foot is flat. And then here, left hand can come to the edge or all the way down. Right arm is gonna reach, but remember, instead of this, we wanna pop the hip up and out a little bit and create that long line from the fingertips all the way down to the edge of the foot. So another thing to keep in mind, especially when we go into that side plank hold, is this left shoulder that's supporting. It's not the shoulder that I want you to worry about. I want you to hook into your lat muscle, because that muscle is going to be the supporting factor for your upper body in this plank. So from here, bring your right hand to your hip, pressing into your forearm and to the right foot. Send your left foot out. Good, you should feel left obliques really helping to keep you lifted and pulled up. And then slowly and with control, bring that left knee out. Reach up and over again. Make sure, again, the hip is slightly lifted. And we're gonna do that again. Last one, hand to the hip. When you're ready, step the left foot out, hold for a breath. Nice, Suzanne, you got it. And then bring the knee down and press yourself up, bring the right knee in. Awesome. Whew. Okay, those are killer. Turn to face away from the chair. I'm gonna have you sit onto your heels, so make sure you can stack the spine. You can sit up straight without your back pressing up against it. What I'm gonna have you do is reach your elbows back to the chair, which for some of us, like me, with really tight shoulders, is you're gonna feel like it's really narrow. Just do your absolute best to hug your elbows in and then push the shoulders back away from the chest. So what I want you to think of doing is holding and pressing down into your elbows and forearms. I'm struggling. And you're gonna press your hips up. So it's not gonna be a whole lot of range of motion necessarily, but you're gonna feel a glute and hamstring squeeze and hopefully a stretch on the front of the quads and hip flexors. And then just lower and peel the hips back down to the heels. So hugging your elbows in, you press up and down, and up and down. Good. And up, squeeze, and lower, and lift, and lower. And again, lift, hug those elbows in, and lift, and lower. Got a couple more, lift, and lower. Last one, lift, and lower. Woo. Inhale, the arms reach up, and back down. All right, I have not done this yet in a chair yoga class. Make sure that your chair is not going to slide out from under you. So if you have it on a mat, that's probably great. It's not going to slip and slide. Or have it pushed back up against something like a wall or something of that nature. So you're going to walk your hands out to tabletop position to start. And you might have to walk your hands a little further. You'll have to adjust just depending on where your feet land. Your goal is going to be to step your foot up onto the chair, one foot, and then all we're going to do is hover. So your right knee is gonna pull into the body. You're gonna kick it back above the chair and then pull in and above the chair. Does that make sense? You can come down as many times as you need. So if you just do one repetition, lift, kick, and in and lower, I'm completely fine with that. Modify as you need to. If you can stay lifted the whole time, kick up, so you're not kicking the chair, and in. Up and in. Up and in. Up and in. 2 more. And in. Good. Softly lower the knee down, and then bring the left knee down as well. Take your knees wide and press back to a child's pose. All right, second side. Press back up to your palms, walk your knees in under the hips. Your right foot this time is gonna step to the chair. And then when you're ready, draw those belly muscles in, lift and hover, and then kick up and out and in. Up and out and in. Last one. Softly bring the knee down, bring your right knee down, and one more child's pose. All right, y'all, go ahead and walk your hands in. You're going to roll over onto your bottoms, facing your chair. Bring your feet to the chair. Slide yourself a little closer so you can get maybe the calves and backs of the knees to the chair as well. And then reach up and hold on to the chair. Good. So try to reach back. So you're holding onto the chair. Your feet and legs hopefully are gonna weight the chair down. And then holding on really tight grip on the chair, you're gonna try and round your spine to stretch. So stretching the backs of the shoulders, shoulder blades. And then carefully release your arms and roll down bone by bone until you get to the mat. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Cleansing breaths are fine. Hug your right knee into your belly and into your chest. Release the right leg back to the chair. Hug your left knee in. Keep the left knee in and hug the right knee in with it. And then take your right hand to the outside of the left knee and bring and drop your knees over to the right for a spinal and belly twist. Left arm can reach open and your gaze can look over the left shoulder to complete the twist. And then carefully bring your knees back up through center. Left hand to the outside of the right leg, dropping the knees to the left and opening the right arm and the gaze over the right shoulder. And then gently bring your knees back up. Give them one more hug. And then you can either extend your legs back out onto the chair if you want the chair for Shavasana, or forego the chair and just slide your legs under the chair and all the way out onto the mat. And so maybe even before setting up for Shavasana, you want to cover up with a blanket. You can turn the lights out or just dim the lights. And then whatever position you took, if your legs are either on the chair or extended out, just let your legs hang loose. Let everything be completely rested, not having to hold anything up. Your arms included, your hips, your spine, your shoulders, your head. Feel the weight of it all. And notice what a balance it is, what hopefully a positive balance it is to feel the weight of your body, but also feeling the sense of lightness to your breath and to your mind, your energy. This is what it means to be and feel grounded. And just for a moment, checking in like you did at the beginning of class with your body, your emotions, your mind, and your thoughts. Notice if they have shifted, if anything has changed. Notice how it's changed. Very gently start to bring attention back to your body. Notice your breath. start to deepen the breath. And begin moving your body softly, very subtly, maybe starting with just the toes and the fingers. And then gradually working into the wrists and the ankles, and then the elbows and the knees. Turning your head from side to side, getting movement back to your head and your neck, shoulders. And then take a really big inhale as you reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, bring the arms down and draw your knees into your belly, rocking from side to side. Feel like you're massaging the muscles that line your spine. And then rolling to one side and pausing for just a moment as everything just settles. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a seat, doing your best to keep the eyes closed as you move, and finding a comfortable position, whether that means your legs are crossed, your legs are straight out in front of you, or even sitting on your heels. And then bring your palms together at heart center. And just notice for a moment longer the energy that you have created. Bow your chin to your chest and give this time to thank your body, to thank your breath and your mind. May we never take any of those for granted. As always, it has been an honor and my pleasure to share practice with you. May you go in peace. Namaste.